The struggles of living with fibromyalgia and the reason why it may be a challenge to retain a job. And some of those reasons are the most essential one is the unpredictability of the condition, along with all the symptoms that come with it. So, in terms of brain fog, cognitive issues, could be something such as emotional stress, chronic pain all of a sudden being triggered by all sorts of factors such as standing for too long or doing a prolonged activity, which could aggravate symptoms in terms of work-related activities that can be within a work environment or traveling. Then cognitive issues, trying to retain information and being unable to, struggling with that. And it can also occur due to fiber fog. So that's unpredictable as well, just in terms of it can occur due to changes in weather, which I never thought was ever possible. Yes, but when it's foggy, it can impact somebody with fibromyalgia, that they can have the symptoms of brain fog, feeling exhausted. So it can occur due to chronic fatigue, insomnia, also emotional stress. So emotional stress can be brought on due to feeling overwhelmed as a result of trying to manage all those symptoms, along with trying to also manage a job as well and trying to maintain the consistency within that whilst not feeling well. Cognitive issues and why they might be a challenge in the workplace. From what I can recall, when I had to leave my previous job, which was many years ago, and my work was so accommodating in terms of like my management team at the time. They attempted to do everything as much as possible for accommodating me in terms of flexible ways of working. But some of the symptoms that I started to recognize which were unmanageable were things such as cognitive issues. So cognitive issues, for instance, being in meetings and forgetting simple words or forgetting simple things that I was doing or trying to remember as I was talking. And then also just sensory issues in terms of something that is just triggered by an environment where it might be too much noise, there might be too much activity going on. And then that can also throw you off balance in terms of then trying to maintain memory. Then in terms of other symptoms, in terms of chronic pain and chronic fatigue and insomnia, the other triggers are also being unable to regulate temperature. So being in an office environment or work environment where it might be too hot, it might be too cold, can also be a struggle for some fiber warriors. As much as employers may want to accommodate everyone, it can be a bit tricky if you're just that one person in an office environment and having to adjust the temperature. So you either like battle through it. What are the things that may happen, let's say, for instance, in terms of temperature? So in terms of temperature, when it's too cold, then it triggers off cognitive fatigue. When it's too hot, again, it triggers off cognitive fatigue. And then it can also trigger off chronic pain. So there's no ways about it, just in terms of trying to manage all these symptoms whilst working and living with fibromyalgia. It can be a struggle. For me, what it's done is that it forced me to consider other ways of working. So if you are still persevering through in your job and you're still managing, congratulations to you. From what I've heard from so many fiber warriors is that you try and find a balance between survival. So it's you work and then you crash after work. And then afterwards, it means that you have no personal lifestyle because you're too exhausted. And that's like cognitive fatigue, insomnia, chronic pain, you name it. And then it becomes a hard balance between, do you just continue to work for the sake of working and not having any personal life? And that can in itself become isolating. Then they flip the coin the other way around. It's not all happy either. It's that you're trying to then find means to create a new lifestyle where you may have to become an independent worker in terms of like self-employed, becoming a contractor, a consultant, or using your specialist skill to earn money independently. And that in itself is not easy. So the long story short, it's about finding a balance in terms what works for you, and also to enable you to have a good quality lifestyle. Okay, it's deciding that in terms of continuing to work. If it works for you, then that's great. And if it's not working for you and you're struggling and it's affecting you in terms of your overall well being, your lifestyle, your personal lifestyle, that you're not able to then function in your personal lifestyle, you just have a job, then you have to ask yourself, is this the ultimate goal? Is this how you want to live your life? So everything doesn't happen immediately. It's all about planning and then considering what can realistically work for you, keeping in mind your well being, your financial circumstance, and how you can persevere through it all. And it's all about taking it one step at a time to ultimately reach the lifestyle that you're looking to live. That will be a balance between work life, whatever it may be, permanent, employed, or independent, where you're able to have that equilibrium, a good balance of living a good quality lifestyle in your personal life, where you're not crashing and burning. And then when you're doing your other, let's say the professional side, where it can be permanent, you're also looking at permanent or contracting, let's say self-employment rather than contracting. It's looking at how does that look like. Okay, so I always go back to, and what helped me to start off with was looking at reviewing my vision and my purpose in life, thinking about what I'm authentically connected with, and then how I can maximize that, how I can use that to connect with people that I want to be able to help. And then that in itself becomes my specialist area. Looking back at, you can connect it with other things that you did in your employment. For me, for example, it was leadership and management, it was coaching, supervising, and assisting small business owners. So it's looking at examples like that and looking at how can you package that to something that will become sustainable for you, whether it's part-time, flexible working, or something that then you use as a platform to start to look at ways to launch your own independent way of working, whether it be self-employment or you start a business. This is what I wanted to connect with you about today. And if anything has resonated, let me know what your experience has been like in terms of trying to balance work life as well as personal life. And what are you ultimately aiming to achieve, where you feel that you will have a balanced outlook in life, where you can manage the professional and then the personal all together.